Wasabi gangsters. Wow, such a much more efficient setup, isn't it? I'm going to slide it back a little bit. You probably should do that before you start recording, Chance. Well, I don't know. Just decided to do that then. So I'm going to talk about my reading and I'm going to talk about my writing and we're going to hang out. So I continued my journey into Ride Hell's Chasm by Janny Wurts. My goal is to have this done by, we're in March 19th. I head out to the ICFA conference with Jake from Nerd Level Rising. We're going to go meet, I believe Janny's going to be there. And it's an educational conference. Going to learn a little bit about the art of writing. I think it's called the Fantastic of the Arts. So I'm hoping to pick brains and learn a lot about the craft. But I'm also enjoying my journey through to Ride Hell's Chasm so far. There are times where I'm not able to ground myself in the perspectives, but there are a few characters who I'm able to quite easily. And as soon as I do, it's the story itself, the through line is very easy to follow, and I'm very much enjoying it. The prose style is beautiful. It's not overhyped. It is definitely, I'm learning a lot. I know I said this last week. And I think this is owed kind of a slower read just to kind of take it all in and be able to absorb the information that you're getting in. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the conspiracy. I'm enjoying the turns, the flips, the action is kind of surprising in a lot of ways mostly because of who the action is between. And yeah, I'm very excited to continue this journey and finish the end of the book. I think I think I'll call it a magic system. There's an aspect of feeling or seeing that is really cool that I cannot wait. We're slowly peeling that layer back as we get through the main character, Mikhail. I hope I'm saying that right. Mikhail's journey. And of course, I don't want to spoil anything. I do think that people should go read this. I think once I'm done reading it, I'll kind of give a little bit more info, maybe give minor spoilers just to kind of. I already talked about how this is a save the princess journey, and I think that alone should warrant you picking it up. That and Janny's prose alone should warrant you're in a fantastic world and you're seeing fantastic characters deal with real world things, and I'm loving it so far. And then I also actually started. I decided not to wait any longer because myself and Jake are going to be having a conversation with him this month, and that is Disquiet Gods by Christopher Ruocchio. I'm about, I want to say, a quarter of the way through this puppy, and I'm loving every bit of it. Again, I'm not surprised. We're seeing much older Hadrian Marlowe. This is book 6, so we're seeing kind of I don't want to use the word broken because I think there's like a 200-year gap between book 5 and book 6, and we're seeing kind of a man that's reflected, a man that I don't want to spoil anything else, so I got to be careful because this is book 6, so I'm not going to. But we're getting a lot more of the cosmic horror aspects kind of reintroduced again for the stuff from book 2 from Howling Dark, which I think the more I loom on it, it's like book 5, Ashes of Man, and Howling Dark go back to back between what's my favorite simply because of what Ashes of Man gave me. But I see why any book in this series can be anybody's favorites. And that tells you so much about this series. If you haven't started Sun Eater, please do. It's incredible. And I can't wait to get to the end of this because Jake said that he ugly cried. And I don't know if I'll ugly cry, but maybe, like that'd be a really cool experience. I've definitely welled with emotion for a couple of books that really hit me. Dead House Gates, which is probably my number one favorite book, but that go between that and Midnight Tides in terms of in the same series. And then obviously anyone, I think from Howling Dark, I did enjoy Empire of Silence, but from Howling Dark to where I'm at with Disquiet Gods, I'm enjoying that series so much and I'm loving it. And I also found out to Ride Hell's Chasm, I'm looking at it, so that's why I'm bringing it up again, it was written after her 5th or 6th book, which is really cool. She said herself. I think that's awesome. And I think that you can really tell the prose style. Not that I've read Curse of the Mistwraith, but it's so interesting that it was one of her later books and not later, but more recent, I'll call it, than the beginning of the Wars of Light and Shadow series. And I'm really looking forward to going back and seeing the Wars of Light and Shadow and seeing the differences between her style, if there are any. I'm told that there are. So I'm looking forward to seeing her journey, I guess in a reverse order for me. And it'll be cool to see that from an author's perspective in terms of her work and seeing what things that she chose to change or things that she chose to keep the same in terms of style. But yeah, that's my main reading right now. I'm not doing anything else. I do have the rest of the gods here that I'm going to be getting to at some point in the near future. My next read after I put down either one of these, whichever one gets put down first, we're picking up Prophet of Edan. I'm going to slide this out real quick. Oh, hold on. Got a little poetry book right there. We're gonna get Prophet of Edan in there. Yeah. There was no progress on Berserk this week, simply because we're waiting on some people during our. I know Brittany's gonna watch this and be like, oh, it's me. Yeah. We have a group of 7 of us doing a conversation over the conviction arc of Berserk. And I have a 1 volume left. And I'm with my manga. I'm very much a 1 volume binger. Like I will read, and sometimes it's more than that. But an entire volume and then just put it down for a week and then pick it up and put it down. And I'm also trying. It also saves me money to not have to buy these. And I know you don't have to. I know there's other ways to do it, but I do love these editions and I do want to collect them. And I'm halfway through the collection, so I have volume 8 of that the big leather bound manga of Berserk coming at some point in the near future here. But I'm holding off. I probably will finish volume 21 by next week, or volume 20, whichever one it's up to for the conviction arc. For our conversation, I don't know when that's happening, but it will be happening soon. My guess would be within the next 4 weeks. I mean, my guess. I'll obviously you guys will keep updated with that. And then I have a conversation next weekend. I know I've probably been talking about this every week leading up to it, but March 14th is the day. I believe it's at 4 p.m. Myself, Ramble Broadcasting, Josh from Josh Reads Books, and Jake from Nerd Level Rising will be talking Malazan, Book of the Fallen, and potentially another guest, which I won't say because I just haven't gotten confirmation yet. But we're getting joined by someone else who just finished Midnight Tides, and Ramble was rambling positively about it, which was very cool. And seeing his reflection and mulling more over my reflection, I'm realizing just how much I truly enjoyed Midnight Tides and the story that's contained within it, and how much more it opens the world, the Malazan world, and it's fascinating just how every single book in that series just kind of really grows on you the further away you get from it. And Rammel's taking an approach of like wanting to get back to the series fast. I'm like, okay, I do as well. I also kind of just want to ruminate in it, and I just want to feel it a lot of the times. But I do share that. I do share that sentiment of wanting to return to the world so quickly because it's just so enthralling. It really just takes you out of your seat and puts you into a whole new place. And I do feel that with a few books in series that I read generally, but this one is exceptional in that way in terms of talking about series. So I'm going to move on from rambling because I just did that for probably 3 minutes about Malazan. And I don't even have a Malazan book up, but there's a conversation next week. I'll talk more about it next Friday as well. Come and hang out, and we will chat spoiler-free and spoiler of Midnight Tides, and probably Malazan as a series. So there's that. That's the reading. I'm going to get into my writing. If you were just here I want to actually shout out my old military and friend and / roommate from California. He got me these puppies to organize my books. Right now, I just have them, catering to my special edition Malazan books up here and kind of in the way, but that's all right. I'll have to figure out a whole new bookcase situation in the future. But yeah, that I'm really excited about. They're so cool. Hope Howie, if you see this, thank you again. He got me this. He got me those. He's going to be a part of this set forever because this lightsaber ain't going anywhere, just so you guys know. So I'm going to get into my writing. If you're here just for the reading, thank you so much for tuning in these last 8 minutes, hanging out, having a good time, talking community, talking books, talking story. Feel free to leave in the comments below what you're reading right now. I'm excited to hear about it. I'm excited to hear about stories that move you, stories that affect you. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, whatever, just let me know in the comments below what you have going right now. Leave a like and come and hang out every week. Subscribe, Yeah, so I'm going to move on to my writing stuff. I finished the copy edits the day after I recorded a video last week, or no, 2 days, because I did most of the work Friday last week, and then I finished the ending on Saturday. I did the acknowledgments, and I did the glossary and the part of the dramatis personae. I wrote my archivist note in the beginning and at the end, and I did a little poem, which I know is kind of out of the blue, but writing generally, my writing experience before starting to write books was song. Like I have a few songs just in my notes. I've worked on them with me and my guitar, and then I also just periodically will like spout out a poem because a lot of times I think poems are just unfinished, unrhyming songs. So yeah, I have a poem that I think fit into the story, into the themes that I threw at the very end of the book. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Actually, I'm curious what you guys are thinking. It's contemporary, so I mean, I don't talk about cell phones and like the internet and Instagram, but it's contemporary, and I'll probably put it up on my Patreon before the book releases in general, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on if you think it should be or should not be included into the book. But I just threw it at the end because it felt appropriate, and what inspired me was I saw something about somebody saying that nobody said life was easy, and so I kind of took that and I said, okay, let's say life is easy, and then my brain just kind of ran with it, and it talks about the good and the bad and everything in between. So I put that in there, and that was the copy edits. The final word count is around 170,000, almost on the dot. And the page count before formatting is around 600. After formatting, I'm not really sure where that'll be. A bell is going to help me out with that once the advanced reader copies are ready to go out. I have a reader. I have my proofreader reading it right now, also giving some subjective feedback as well, and another friend / beta reader, more beta reading, giving me some final feedback, just some testing. I would like to grow that list and expand that list of people reading after it goes through copy edits, because in the future, I'm hoping with book 2, I have more of that. I did have a good amount of alpha readers, and they gave me a lot of general feedback that did help a ton. But yeah, I'd be looking for more people that are interested in beta reading in the future. That'd be incredible. And then I went back into book 2, and I am up to chapter 16 of 44. I don't think anything changed there. I went back through the chapter I was working on before I went into my copy edits last week, and and something about just the process of going through the copy editing really helped me trim down on a lot of the stuff in my first draft through this first revision of book 2. That's helping me see every page and every chapter in a new light, and trying to be more concise, trying to get more effective use out of my words, and as essentially becoming a better writer in this process of copy editing and developmental editing. It's been tremendous in its ability to receive this feedback, be able to know what fits, what doesn't fit, to know how much exactly you should say, what you shouldn't say, showing and not telling. There's a lot of my drafting before copy editing included showing and then telling. So I like to, and this is just like probably some style things that I had going through the new writer process. And so when I went through the copy editing, and Gracie York over at the York Editing Guild kind of gave me feedback like, hey, like you do a really good job showing it, but then you also tell us. So you don't need to tell us, just delete it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we delete it. And then, so now going back through book 2, I'm trying to identify those things before it even gets to that part. That way my developmental editor and my copy editor have a little less work to do. That'd be ideal. That means I'm getting better, and that's what I'd like, because the total word count cut was like roughly 60 some odd, 66,000, I think, somewhere in there, 66, 67, which is incredible in terms of, and that's not including, I probably added 12,000, so there's probably a little more than that in there. It's been an incredible process, and I recommend anybody who's self-publishing or independently publishing, hire people and save your money, hire people, and get your work looked at, or obviously get critiques in general. And I do think professionals going through your book is it can make a giant difference in terms of the outcome of the story. And I do want this story to be delivered in the most efficient and concise way possible. And I think I chose the right people and found the right professionals to help me do that. And I'm so excited for the outcome. I'm so excited to hear everybody's thoughts when it comes out. I know that there will be advanced reader copies available for reviewers. So if you are posting content at all, you guys can just reach out to me and I'll send it your way. If you're someone who just like wants to read it, reach out too. I do have something built into my Patreon with the very first and only Patreon tier that you pay for. Again, most of it's free. I'm going to talk about this very briefly. I know I yapped about it last week forever. I do have some advanced artwork up there and a sample of the entire prologue, which I called it before. I don't even call it a prologue because I'm annoying. And I have that up there with the artwork formatted by a bell. For you guys to check out. It's in a PDF. You can read the whole prologue, see if the story interests you, see if you want to keep hanging around, and wait for the either get in. And if you sign up for that Patreon too, you'll get an advanced reader copy. I'll just send it to you in digital. And otherwise, the sample will be there next month for when the advanced reader copies are available. So it'll be free next month. I have the early look, and then I have my sister working on a website right now. I will be posting a lot of my Patreon content onto there, just so I have it in all one concise place as well, and mixed in with the Patreon stuff. And yeah, I'm just really putting on a lot of different hats in the independently publishing space. looking at ways to reach more people who are interested in the genre and the stories that like the stories that I'm trying to tell. Of course, obviously talking to you guys and talking story in general is something I enjoy doing when it comes to reading. So I hope to continue doing that. Obviously, talking about my story would be so cool, which is why I'm doing a lot of giving it away. The ebook is still up there on Amazon. It'll be probably 99 cents the first month. And I understand there's a lot going on with Amazon right now with the conversation of what you own and what you don't own. I will offer it on Kindle Unlimited, which I actually think is a pretty good service, relatively speaking. But the ebook itself will be available for 99 cents for probably about 2 months on release, and then obviously the physical book I'm going to be doing through. I believe the goal is through Ingram Spark. We'll see how that works. I know that the advanced reader copies will be done through them, so I'm going to have to see how they turn out and all that. So preliminarily, that's what I'm looking at. I don't know if that's a word. So anyways, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. Sorry, I babbled on there, but just to give you guys kind of a behind the scenes look in the publishing process, because I am still in the writing and revising and editing process. The story is still the most important thing to me. That said, when it comes to the business hat that I have to put on, and technically you don't have to, I don't think I'm very good at it personally, but it is a side that I have to try and look at objectively and try to make sure that again, the goal is really to share the story with as many people as possible because of how deeply it affected me. And I would love for other people to experience what I experienced growing up with some of my favorite stories. And I'm hoping to share this story with people so they can talk to me about it. That's literally all I want to do is talk about the thing I love. So yeah, I hope you guys can do the same. I hope in the comments below, you guys leave what you're passionate about, leave the projects that you're working on right now. If it's something like poetry, that's fine too. Leave that. It'll point me in a direction to go check out some of your stuff. Especially if it's short form, it'd be a lot easier for me to do that right now with all I have going on with my day job and also writing and reading, and of course my girlfriend and, life. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming to hang out. I will see you every Friday. I have a writing update that I put up, I think a few hours before you guys see this video. I have a writing update on my Patreon for free for members. I am still trying to do a serialized version of a novella, which I will be I think when I launch the website, I'll probably do it that way. I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll do this and get some artwork for it. I think I'm just going to just post it so you guys can see kind of the serialized novella. I'll also put it on the Patreon for free so you guys can see it. I'll have it in both places for whatever people prefer as far as ease of access. And then also, oh yeah, I had a note on Audible, which also I have to talk about my reading. I am in the middle of Song of Achilles and I'm loving it, by the way. And I'm doing that on audio. And I think that's why I kind of forget sometimes. It's just because it's like a morning thing. I listen to it on the train and sometimes it gets lost. I'm loving the story. I'm loving the retelling. I talked about it on the live stream, which I did yesterday. Relax with Red Company. You guys can see it on my channel, my live videos that I have. The replays uploaded. You guys can check out that conversation. It was a great conversation. But anyway, sorry, update on Audible before I continue to babble. So Sound Booth Theater got back to me. There's they have a standard of which they need your following at before they're able to say that they want to work with you on a royalty share basis. And I just didn't meet that standard. It's a relatively high number. And so I'm going to try and turn over a stone at Podium and hopefully we get some movement there because the audiobook process sounds grueling. I will be personally doing an audio sample of The Before, the sample that I'm going to be putting up for free next month with the look at the artwork that I have getting done for you guys to listen to. For those of you who don't want to read the PDF, you guys can have a video just where I will voice act my characters that I wrote, and you guys will be able to get the first some odd, how many ever pages of the book on audio for your enjoyment. I think that's the right way to say it, right? That's all. I think I think that's it. 18 minutes, crushed it. Check out the Patreon writing updates because they're free. And and sometimes I'm babbling in there and I like this and I get more in depth. It's not, just telling you guys one thing after another. It's sort of just more reflection as well that I put in there. And that'll be going up in a monthly newsletter on a website in about a month as well. But yeah, again, grateful for all of you. I'll see you next Friday. Sorry, I ended this video 4 times. Go check out Jake and Preacher's conversation on Jake's channel, Nerd Level Rising. I believe it's tomorrow, or it'll be the same day that you guys are seeing this video, if not the day after. But yeah, go check that out. All right, guys, later.